fun. Bryce, you ready to do this, man?
Come on, ready, man. Bro.
You ready?
I'm ready, man.
Hey, it's been so long since I've done this, man, but a couple months ago, I heard this pastor, preacher, online presence talking about how the music that we listen to nowadays is part of the problem. We don't listen to music that can help us tell a story, you know? And honestly, I rebuke that. Not that people don't listen to music. You know, when I told Bryce that earlier, he was like, oh yeah, that is true. I don't listen to that opium stuff. I don't listen to Cardi. Fiend, that ain't me. That ain't me. And it's nothing against that. But just know when you put in fiend over and over again, what do you think that turns you into? You gotta change your appetite a little bit. And I'm not even just saying that so that you listen to only gospel music. I mean, of course, that's great. Who doesn't want to glorify God? But I want to open your ears a little bit. I want to change your perspective upon listening to songs a little bit more substance than Playboi Carti screaming fiend over and over again, or all these opium. I don't even know what they're talking about. Destroy Lonely, Ken Carson. Shout out y'all, but like I don't know what y'all be talking about. You feel me? I'm not familiar. And no disrespect. You got your art, I got mine. So I'm gonna use a few songs. You know, I tell Chad all the time that real music is nothing but the telling of a story over a beat. Real music. I mean, Fiend. I don't think that's a story, unless it's the story of how I became a drug addict. But it's not my story. So the first story I want to tell, song that I listen to that I could connect to my life, is Uptown by Drake, featuring Lil Wayne. But you know, we just focusing on my guy Drizzy for right now. Opens the song up. Hardly home, but always reppin'. If you know me, you know boy. School started, August 25th? Up until Thanksgiving break, there was not a single day I did not leave the crib. Not a Saturday, not a Sunday, every single day was something to do. Every single day. Feels like I'm hardly home, but you see the hoodie. Always gonna be repping. Whether it's the God Knows hoodie, whether it's Micah Parsons, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, Fred VanVleet, Luka Doncic, you go on and on and on. This semester has been one more than any other where people start conversations based off of what I wear. This hoodie, this God Knows hoodie, has gotten more compliments than any other hoodie in my life. And I've had it for maybe 2 months because I know who to rep. When I'm hardly home, it don't change who I'm repping. 100% of the time, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. You hardly own it, always second, blah, blah, blah. When I'm awake, you always resting. I want y'all to think about this for a second. I was in this semester of school just like y'all. I had a tonsillectomy on August 18th. And today is what, December 16th? And I have 30 chapters of a book written. So when y'all are resting, I want y'all to think about what I'm doing. When I'm awake, what are y'all doing? Because I don't think I could write a book in my sleep. And I'm not telling y'all to push yourselves past, you know, but I mean, you heard the man. You heard the man, Drizzy. When I'm awake, you always resting. Drizzy the GOAT, man. When they call you to answer, you will hardly question. You know, I serve a God who had to answer all the questions. I try and live a life full of my experiences that represent that. I don't just tell people answers to stuff because this is what I think or blah, blah, blah. It's because I've done experienced some stuff that when I tell you an answer, it's because I was questioning myself. I'm here today because my life is full of experiences where I got questioned. I question myself. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, Miles, who really are you? I'm in a mental hospital. I'm dealing with this surgery. I'm dealing with this funeral. I ask myself so many questions, and that's how I find answers. But those of you all who are hardly questions think y'all know everything. Y'all think y'all the big bad wolf. Like y'all know all the answers. Okay, that's fine. Just know you're gonna get humbled to really know the answers. Because I went through it myself. You feel what I'm saying? Okay. Because I was actually questioning, I actually went through a season of questioning myself. That's why I could say I'm doing classic stuff in all my sessions. All my videos, all the chapters that you read, other people's situations, they're all depressing. That's why I never follow y'all suggestions. I just always did my own thing. Now I run the game. Look, it's nothing personal. It's not raining on anybody's parade of people that are depressed. It's because I was depressed too. You think that getting to a mental hospital, being in that place, experiencing all the different things that I did, tearing the ACL, going through this, going through that, going through the other, I didn't experience depression. No, I did. And that's why I look at other people in my life who try to tell me what to do that are still in depression. You think I'm going to listen to that? You think people that don't fight it, people that sit in it, they try and tell me what to do as if I didn't already come from it. And I sit here and I look and I'm like, why would I listen to y'all? Why? Who are you? You want me to be depressed like you? And it's no hard feelings. It's no. Get out of that depression. Don't try and tell people what to do from your depression. Who are you to call the shots? You know? And now I'm in a place where all my stuff is being done in sessions that are classic, and I never follow y'all suggestions. Now look at me doing my own thing. Now I run the game. You stupid mother. I see all this money through my Ohio State Buckeyes. That has nothing to do with me. But I like the bar though, the Ohio State Buckeyes. You what Drake did there. Okay. I feel like stuff has been going good in my life. It's been going pretty good. I think it's been a pretty good year, but good could go to better. And I feel like a lot of y'all are the type to lose her, and I'm about to get her. And a lot of y'all think about women when y'all hear that, which obviously to an extent, I'm pretty sure Drake was talking about women. But if you read your Bible, when Solomon talks about wisdom, he personifies it as a her. You need to chase after her. And so I think about, okay, I see a lot of people who live lives where wisdom and moments to become more wise, they go right in front of your face and it's gone with the wind. It's almost like y'all a loser, but I'm gonna make sure that I get the wisdom, you know? Because stuff has been going good, but with the wisdom, now it's time to turn it better, enter in 2026. And so Drake goes to the chorus, he says, it's okay. You can run and tell your friends that I'm on, and I know that it's a lot of people, it's hard to keep up. This story, I'm honestly surprised myself that I'm here, if I'm being honest. But don't even question it. It's a lot of people who doubt it, and it's okay. You can run and tell your friends that I'm on. Trust. Best believe I understand why there was doubt, why there was hate. It's okay. It's okay. You can run and tell your city. And if you don't believe right now, don't worry. We come in. The second verse, yeah, wrong way down a one way. Getting to heaven isn't a negotiable thing. The Bible tells you what to do. Making it to a place that's successful in life is not. There's no easy way to glorify God. It's a one-way road. You know, the straight narrow path. That's a one-way road, and I see some of y'all going the wrong way down that road. But that's a decision that you made. But it kind of hurts to see a lot of people going the wrong way down that one way. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like a lot of people look at me and say, where did I get it from? These people always wonder who. And then y'all meet my dad and it's like, oh, okay, he's just a younger you. You know, Drake said that, but I'm talking about myself. You know, my dad was a poet. He did poetry in college. He has a way with words. And I sit and I think about all the music that he and I have listened to together over the course of our lives. And I think it'd be doing him a disservice to say I didn't get it from him. And oftentimes when my friends see us together, the feedback is I'm just a younger him. Same sense of humor, same way with words. You get it. Blah, 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 blah. There ain't nothing I really want to tell a story with. Okay. I don't ever play, but I'm in the game, lady. They just lose to love. Those are tennis games, lady. You know, I don't try and live a life that's full of playing games. I feel like we're too old for that, you know? But at the same time, even though I'm not trying to play, so many people on this earth make it a game. I don't understand why. So even though I'm here in the game, I'm not really playing. This isn't a joke, you know? And it's like a lot of people, self-included, lose to love. A lot of people lose themselves. They think their life is defined by love, but that's nothing but tennis games. If you want to lose to love, go play tennis. And if you don't get that, maybe watch Serena Williams or something. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes I feel like I sit here and I'm like, whose line is it anyways in conversations? I feel like I'm in a daze, especially after that car accident last week. Talk about being in a daze. And even in the midst of all of that, all the moments, the funerals, the surgeries, the accidents, it's like I'm in the days and y'all still have been amazed by how far I've been able to make it. You know, and it's like I think y'all are in a maze because y'all seem to be stuck in the beginner stage. With me, I'm on fire. I've been ablaze. You know, people say you're on fire for God. And I remember having that fire lit back in 2023 and I lost it. But I'm here now and it's like, oh no. I'm on fire. I feel like I've been ablaze. I walk and people will compliment me with this, with that, with the other. And it's like the reason that I feel like even though when I'm in a car accident and I'm in a daze, the reason y'all are still amazed is because y'all are so stuck at the beginning stage that it's like, how do we get there? Don't think too hard, man. Just do it, you know? It's like people overcomplicate it. Stop thinking, just do it. I mean, you think he signed with Nike for accident? Nah, okay, that's glaze. I don't think he did that on purpose. But at the same time, you know, I look at the story of my life up to this point, and I could confidently tell y'all that the value a lot of people try to treat me with, I'm more than what y'all tried to bargain for. Nothing less than real. You can put that to your life. You see, and I find it so funny that I can listen to a song like this and tell a story like that and hear people tell me that music doesn't tell a story. Just because it's not glorifying God, that means you're not listening to the right stuff. You know, the next song is a song that my father put me on to. You know, shout out to the lyric of They Name Me My Pop and Tell Him Drake Is Just a Younger You. You know, I feel that. And it's I'll Be in the Sky by B.O.B. Now, I know a lot of people wouldn't really know that song. It's a song that came out around the same time, I think 2009. And my dad, that was one of the first songs, like, I remember listening to with him. I remember the first time seeing the music video like it was yesterday. And I remember thinking to myself, like, B.O.B. one of them ones. Now, obviously, in 2025, I don't know what B.O.B. is doing, but I can tell you he was doing on this song. So he comes in and he says, remember when I leave that the one in the mirror ain't me. It's just someone that I call B.O.B. It's kind of me, but it's not. I feel like this MK versus Miles. I feel like sometimes I put on this persona, I put on this mask that I got so that I could rap and get off my block. Reminiscing my past when I was a toddler. It feels like MK is this front, this dude that tries to fit in, this dude that wants to get approval from everybody else. But Miles is the real me, and I think that some people know Miles and some people know MK, but not too many people really know both. Not at the depth that you should, and I realize it ain't no point in wearing a mask. Just be who you are, you know? After that, he said, when he was reminiscing, doing blah, 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 now I'm on lockdown. And he says, not writing and reading a lot. Mine is the exact opposite. I remember going in lockdown, being in the mental hospital, and I've done nothing but write and read a lot. Because I knew the only way out of that funk, out of that place, was to read my Bible, to listen to that person talk, to this person talk, and write my own story. And I sit here and I'm like, it ain't about this mask that I got to try and rap and get off my block. Like, it's about being who you are. And as I do that, I remember thinking that I was at the end of my line, but then I found out it was all in my mind. Like, I don't think y'all really comprehend what it's like to, you know, spend 3 weeks in the mental hospital with no crutches. Like, that's kind of crazy. And there was a point where I'm thinking, like, I don't know if I'm gonna ever make it out of here. But as I got out, it's nothing but a memory that's all in my mind. And that's why all right, I don't remember where I just left out the camera. Devil trying real hard now to make sure this don't get through. But anywho, I found out it was all in my mind. But that's why I realized, that's when I realized that that's why I'm here, to end all the fear and tell you guys that we all gonna die and leave from here. And I don't mean that in a morbid way. It's get yourself together. You know, I feel like it's my responsibility to say, sometimes you think you're at the end of the line, but it's really just in your mind, man. We all gonna die and leave from here. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Like, just live your life. And it feels like at certain times I was a man with no name. People looked at me and don't recognize me. They look at a version of me, MK, Miles, whatever, and they don't recognize the person that they're looking at. But now I feel like I'm at a place where I have a little bit more recognition, a little bit more credibility, but all that's not gonna matter when I die and say goodbye so long. You know, people don't remember the work that you do. They remember who you are. Like the work that you're trying to do is about creating a legacy, not a resume. The little job print out what jobs you work, who cares? What legacy did you leave? That's what I want people to remember, you know? And so we get to the second verse, whatever. He says, everybody here gonna die one day, so while I'm here, I'm gonna find my way. That's my forte. That's why I'm here, so open up your ear and spit this real. I mean, I feel like I'm trying to open up your ears and spit to you. If you don't want to listen, turn it off, that's cool, but again, that's why I'm here, you know? Skip, blah, 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 blah. I find this so funny. He says the gold teeth don't really match with a suit. And I think about my grandfather. I think about all he was able to achieve in his life with his gold tooth. The success that he had. He's probably the most successful person I've ever met with his gold tooth. And y'all think I'm going to let the world telling me that you can't be successful with a gold tooth and be in a suit, blah, blah, blah. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Be who you are. Take that leap of faith. And it's funny because so many people conform that they lock themselves in a box. Feeling like if I tell you, oh, you got to go to, you can't get this job, you can't wear a suit, then you're not going to try. Be who you are, you know, blah, 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 blah. But B.O.B. finishes it off saying, after all, everybody want to kick back. They want to get old just like you, but since ain't nobody going to be responsible, I might have to be the one to show. I look at my grandfather and the life he's been able to live, and I could sit here and say I want to get old just like him and live the type of life that he has. But I look around people my age, and it's like nobody else wants to be responsible for making that type of sacrifice, so I'm going to be the one to show y'all. Okay, cool, whatever. You know, both of those songs are a little bit older. You know, both 2009, and nobody really knows B.O.B. like that. But this next one, I know y'all know who this is. It's a guy by the name of Dominique Jones, a.k.a. Lil Baby. It's a song commercial, and again, you wouldn't really think this has much of anything to do with telling a story, but I got you. Go in the store and get rubber bands. I done got rich and I put on my mans. I don't think about money. I'm not really motivated by money. I don't really care about money in that sense. I think about how I'm getting rich with wisdom. I think about being biblically rich. I think about filling up my cup so I can pour out into other people. And I'm trying to put on all my mans. You know, that's what I'm here for. You know, it all ties together. And so as I've gone through my experiences and my way of getting rich, a lot of y'all would say I'm tripping, but y'all just wouldn't understand. Y'all don't understand what that's. Oh my gosh, you know, it's like, I almost feel like I'm at a point where I'm running this stuff and I can do what I want, and a lot of y'all just do what y'all can. But that's only because of God. God has blessed me with my gift to say, I'm doing what I want with this. You know how hard it's been to get here, but I'm still doing what I want at the end of the day, because I'm not letting nobody knock me off course. I'm doing, but a lot of y'all feel like y'all just doing what y'all can. Who's defining what you can and can't do? Because if the answer's not you, then you need to check your source. Okay, so we move past doing what I want, doing what I can. Oh, baby, so hard. I'm about to take off. I gave him a chance. Listen, this is the most sincere bar I can give y'all right now. I'm telling y'all I'm about to take off. I'm not asking, I'm telling. And I'm giving y'all a chance to believe in me. Or you could thank me later. The choice is yours. The choice is, I'm telling you I'm about to take off. And I'm giving you a chance to be a part of this journey. You know, baby says, thought I'd be trapping forever, but God came and blessed me. I guess it was part of the plan. Obviously, I'm not no trapper. That ain't me. But I do remember being in the mental hospital and thinking I was going to be there forever. But in the grand scheme, God blessed me, and that was just a part of the plan. How you on fire but he cool as a fan? You know, it goes back to being ablaze and I'm in a daze. It's like I'm on fire with this, but at the same time, when you see me, I feel like I'm pretty cool. Calm, got chill guy. You know, just the dude with the hand in his pocket is just a chill dude, you know what I'm saying? That's me. On fire but cool as a fan of the same. So see, y'all don't be listening to Baby for real. Y'all think Gunna better than, I ain't even finna go there. If I can't get at you, I'm gonna get at your mans. Cause they can relate to me because I be popping it, put it in their face, let them see what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Do you see it? And if you don't, it's okay, I'm gonna get to your mans because he could see it. Y'all not all, but open your eyes. The hoodie right in front of you is right in front of you. Free all the bros now. What if I can't? Oh my God. My brothers that I met in the mental hospital, bruh. Some of them. But some of the other ones, oh my God. I don't know where y'all at. I don't know what y'all doing. But just trust me when I say, like, if I could, I would bless y'all, like, right here, right now, today. I hope y'all doing great. If I don't mean it, I swear I'm not saying it. If I didn't mean any of the stuff I just said, I wouldn't have said it. And it's so crazy because Baby wrapped this up saying, before I was 21, swear I was savage, smashing. And I want you to sit back and think for a second. Before I was 21. How old am I? What? Oh, I'm not 21 yet, am I? Okay. So I get what he means when he says before he was 21. He got the city turned up, right? And so, blah, 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 blah. We get to Uzi's verse. And I'm not finna sit here and try and put Uzi's verse on commercial in that type of light because overall, Uzi not really, in my mind, Uzi and God aren't really parallel. So I'm not even gonna sit here and try and do that. But what I will say is there's one song about Uzi. It gets me turned. I want y'all to feel the scene. It's 2016. It's an edit. It's Russell Westbrook. He getting lit. He got a smile on his face. Okay. You feel it? Right? Everybody know I'm better. Yeah, I'm better. It don't matter. Pockets fatter, blah, blah, blah. Nowadays, I'm on my haters. They got sadder, right? I think about where I was at 2 years ago, where I was at a year and a half ago, where I was at a year ago, and I say, I'm better. It don't matter. The past don't matter. My haters, they got sadder. And oh my gosh, bro. I don't care about the money being longer, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I can do anything and I won't lose it. She got right with a winner, left that loser. Look. Men, stop being a loser. Stop. Be the winner. My girls out there, listen to me. Stop being with that loser, bro. For real. And it goes both ways. It's sometimes the men are the winner and some of y'all girls, oof, I ain't gonna say no names, but I think it's important that you turn into the winner regardless of your gender. Don't be the loser. And for those of y'all with the loser, get with the winner. Get with a guy like me. Okay. Anywho, okay. All that, whatever. Boy, I started on the bottom, made my way to the top. I think being in the mental hospital and getting an ACL reconstruction and 5 funerals and a tonsillectomy and a dead car and a car accident, I think that's being at the bottom, but yet and still I made it up to the top. Boy, I'm gonna keep winning. You know I cannot stop. Throw it at me. Whatever it is, I'm not gonna stop. You know, I remember when I had a little and I turned it to a lot. I think about faith. I think about the version of me that didn't have this much faith, that didn't have this much strength in God. But I was able to turn that mustard seed faith into this. Right? And it's like, what Baby say? I do what I want, y'all do what y'all can. I mean, what's the name of this song, man? Come on. I don't think y'all really listen. Y'all don't listen to music the right way, in my opinion. Okay, cool. Uzi, Baby. Baby comes back on the second verse. Switch it up, come back another way. If the vibe ain't right, come back another day. And I'm like, okay, Baby gonna switch it up for the second verse. And I think about other Baby songs. I think about Lowdown. It ain't happen like this. I just do it on. It just happened like this. I ain't do it on purpose. I think about How, where he talks about how he's been getting loaded up with wisdom. Well, he not talking about wisdom. I'm talking about wisdom. I'm getting loaded up with wisdom, and I know that sometimes along that journey, the devil's gonna be on my shoulder, but God got my back, so I'm gonna keep on rolling regardless. I say all that to say, and after Baby switches it up and he comes back another way, I'll put it to you like this. He says, you can take me out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of me. You can take me out of the church building, you can put me wherever you want, but you're not taking the God out of me. I don't care what. Okay, I think you're listening now, but I got a couple more for you. Okay, so we got Amen by Drake and Meek Mill. Now Meek Mill, I don't consider myself a Meek Mill fan, but I like this song though. And what I will say is his intro. I don't particularly care for Meek Mill's verse, but I like the intro. He says, "I just want to thank God for all the pretty women He let into my life, all the Benjamins He let me count, wealth and health for my family, and for letting me ball on these people." So look, we're gonna go verse by verse. Bar by bar. I want to thank God for all the pretty women He's let into my life. Now, I hear all the time from adults, my mom, other family friends, that my friends are so pretty, they're so beautiful. And it's funny to me because the same friends that y'all think are pretty, I think they're kind of chopped. But at the same time, I ain't gonna say no names, but if the shoe fit, hey, I ain't gonna say no names. Hey, huh? What'd you say? Nah, I just found Bryce being messy. But nah, I will say that the beauty I see is on the inside of them, all jokes aside. And whether or not they chopped, I think that there's so many people that God has blessed me with where this is beautiful. And I want to thank Him for that. In that same breath, I want to thank God for the wealth and health. Oh my goodness, like to be this happy, to be this healthy after everything I've been through and the wealth of knowledge and wisdom that I have. Thank you, God. And for my family, whether it's blood, whether it's Bryce, whether it's, thank you, like for real. And for letting me, be able to do things like this. Okay, we're gonna skip through his verse. I don't really care about what Meek Mill said. But what Drake said, I can't say I just bought all the stuff he's talking about buying people. I ain't buying nobody no dope. That ain't me. But what I will say is that for all the people that plan on jumping the fence, I hope y'all can float. Because if you're going a different direction, have fun trying to float and all that. I just hope that I'm forgiven for caring about how they living. I'm looking at whoever you are, and I care about how you live. And I hope that doesn't make me this bad person. And I hope that I'm forgiven for caring about how you living and loaning a little money and keeping people out of prison. I mean, I don't know if I was necessarily saying I'm keeping people out of prison, but I know what it feels like to need help and to need some. All right, y'all. We gonna figure out this whole camera situation. But third time's the charm, though. We good. We good. Okay. I said loaning a little money and keeping them out of prison. Again, I don't know that I'm keeping people out of prison per se, but I don't got no issue loaning a little money. Like, we all in this together, and I ain't lying in my verses. I'm just telling you the basis of growing up with your friends and becoming the one that made it. Yes, Lord. So look, when I tell you that nothing I have said is a lie up to this point, as far as experiencing, as far as feeling, as far as relating to, I'm telling y'all what it feels like spiritually to be on a journey where I'm in a mental hospital. I go through a car accident. I go through this surgery, this funeral, that funeral, that funeral, that funeral, that funeral. And I'm still here. I made it. And that's why I say, yes, Lord, Oh God, man, I got talking about these other rappers getting old is even getting old. That's something that hits me is like, y'all don't get tired of talking about the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again. Drake, early in his career, says talking about these other rappers getting old is even getting old. Like, y'all aren't ready to be next. Like, why y'all keep talking about this this person, he keep doing blah, 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 she blah, blah, blah. Y'all not getting tired of that? Just move on and be better. Be that winner, not that loser. I'm telling you, it's all the same story, bro. Talking about these other rappers getting old is even getting old. Worry about your followers. You need to get your dollars up. Boy. I see so many people who are so worried about getting their followers up. They doing this, posting that on the gram so that this is what has blah, blah, blah. Fishing for praise. Look at story like, look, who cares? It ain't even about getting your dollars up. Like, obviously you want to get your dollars up, but for me, get your wisdom up, get your riches up godly. And of course the money will come with it, but worrying about your followers, whether you want to talk about riches, whether you want to talk about wisdom, whether you want to talk about money, that's all more important than your followers. Who cares about the followers, dog? Me and me, just popping like I caught this up and good ain't good, bro. Good ain't good enough. Look, I think about God, right? I judge myself by His standards. That's where I've kind of shifted to. I don't really care about what you have to say, what you have to say. You know, other people's situations, they're all depressing. That's why I never follow y'all suggestions. I always did my own thing. But God, his situation is never depressing. Being in a space with him, being in a room with him, and living up to his standards. I've been doing good. What Drake said on Uptown? Been going good, but good could turn to better. And now I look at Amen and he says good ain't good enough. Yeah, it's been going good, but it could turn better because good ain't good enough. I spend my whole life putting on, you spend your whole life putting up. You know, I try and not only say that I've been doing good in God's eyes, but I want to do better because good isn't good enough. And I say that I'm putting on, you see the hoodie. I'm trying to put on, I'm trying to say stuff like this because good isn't good enough. It's not just about saying it here and not saying it there. It's about always saying it, always living it. And I feel like I put on for that, and a lot of y'all put up fronts. You know, I try and put this on every day. I try and every conversation walk away with somebody's spirit being filled, somebody being uplifted. And a lot of y'all put on fronts. Y'all post this y'all in church. Y'all post this Bible quote. And then y'all go do Lord knows what. Are you putting on or are you putting up a front? You ask yourself that question. And you know, that's the thing about asking questions. You tend to find answers. And I had to ask myself, am I putting on or not putting up? So it's nothing against people that are putting up a front, putting up a facade. But rather than do that, why don't you just put on? Because he already knows. He already knows whether or not you're putting on or you're putting up. So you might as well keep it real. Ain't no, whoo, I love Drizzy. Ain't no telling when I go, so there ain't nothing I'm going to wait for. You know, that's one thing that God has taught me these last couple of years. Like, all jokes aside, like, it's hard to tell when you gonna go. It ain't no telling. So because of the fact that there's no telling when I'm going to go, I'm not gonna wait. And you know what makes me different in that breath? I think we all know that, what did B.O.B. say? Everybody here gonna die one day, so while I'm here, I'm gonna find my way. That's my forte. That's why I'm here. Open up your ear, spit this real. It's all the same story, and what I need you to understand is the difference between me and a lot of y'all. Drake wrapped his verse up saying, after saying, ain't no telling when I go, so there ain't nothing I'm gonna wait for. Like Drake, I'm the type to say a prayer and then go get what I just prayed for. I ain't just gonna pray and then start crying. I ain't gonna just pray that the world is crashing down and that I need a job and then I go fill out a job application, whatever. You gotta say a prayer and then go make that prayer happen. That's the difference between me and a lot of y'all. Y'all pray and then don't do nothing. Say a prayer and you'll get what you just prayed for. The church. Okay. One more for y'all. I really think y'all listening now, and I got one more for y'all. I think the one that I relate to the most. So, you know, I always say, I told my dad this, if I was about 10 to 15 years older, the way I feel about Drake, I'd probably feel that way about Kanye West. Old Kanye is one of one, and I wasn't around, obviously, when he dropped his debut album. And at the same token, I think it's cool that he's from Chicago. And, you know, I love the city of Chicago for a multitude of different reasons. Shout out Drake on Chicago Freestyle. Shout out all my peeps from Chicago. But anywho, through the wire, Kanye West had this reconstructive jaw surgery and spit through the wire. It wasn't going to stop him. And it's so crazy that he used through the fire because, you know, that's what life feels like sometimes. It feels like a battle. It feels like a storm. But you have to pursue through that fight, through that battle, through that storm, through that fire. So he comes in. Oh, man, I spit it through the wire, man. This is where me and Kanye are lockstep, same mentality. I feel like there's too much stuff in my heart right now, man. I gladly risk it all right now. You know, it's a life or death situation, I feel like, and y'all don't really understand. You know, it's your boy. You know who I am, and it's like, Chi-Town, what's going on? Shout out all my people from Chi-Town. Okay, now we come in, I drink a Boost for breakfast and Ensure for dessert. I hear Kanye say I drink a Boost for breakfast and Ensure for dessert, and I think about when I had my tonsils removed. I think about what I physically could not eat because they cut into my tonsils and I'm coughing up blood. So my diet looked similar to Ensure and Boosts. Not exactly the same, but a lot of smoothies, I couldn't really eat nothing. It also makes me think about when I was in the mental hospital. It takes me back to that. And y'all, trust me, y'all would not like the mental hospital diet. Trust me. Like, Trust me. So I hear Kanye say something like that. I'm like, okay, I feel you, Kanye. I feel you, right? Oh, my phone's bugging. Wait 1 second, guys. But y'all see this though? Y'all understand like the parallelism? Like, oh my gosh, y'all don't understand. I feel like it's a life or death situation, man. Like y'all don't really understand. Y'all don't. The same way y'all don't really understand how I feel right now, man. That right there, Kanye, after that whole little intro says, that right there could drive a sane man berserk. I think about everything that I went through and how it drove me, somebody that most people look at as a pretty sane man. I got driven berserk, right? How do you console my mom or give her light support, telling her her son's on life support? I think about the moment I called my mom when I tore my ACL. I think about all the other phone calls, all the other things my mom had to deal with, all the people she had to talk to, man, I could go on and on about what my mom had to deal with, whether it's the mental hospital, whether it's the calls that she had to hear. And it's like, how do you even console somebody whose son is going through that, you know? Imagine how my girl feels, creator show, like, man, we ain't talking about no girls right now. That ain't, miss me with that. Okay. It's no use in me trying to be lying. I've been trying to be signed. Look, I don't care about being signed on a label, whatever. But when I tell you there's no use in me trying to lie right now, what would I gain from it? I'm just trying to tell my story. You know what I'm saying? I feel like trying to be a millionaire, how I used to lifelines. I'm in the same hospital where Biggie Smalls died. And then I had blood cousin, but I ain't Jamaican, man. I feel like this is the type of story that you would see on MTV. But I ain't trying to make a band, though. This ain't about money. But I feel like from the moment I tore my ACL, from the moment I did this, from the moment I did that, and where I am today, yeah, this is the type of story you would see on MTV. You know why? Because this right here is history in the making, man. He had, the little chorus plays, Shaka Khan in the background, and Kanye goes on this little interlude, I like to call it. He apologizes to everyone if it's unclear at all because they got his mouth wired shut. And I would like to say to y'all, if it's unclear, the same way Kanye talks about when he looked at himself in the mirror and saw this and saw that. In case it's unclear, I had my knee reconstructed, you know what I'm saying? I remember looking in the mirror and seeing my ribs bruised from using my crutches too much. I remember looking in the mirror and seeing my glasses are crooked because of the fight I got it in the mental hospital. Like, I remember that stuff, man. I couldn't believe it when I would look in the mirror and be reminded of my glasses being crooked and see my ribs, but I'm still here for y'all right now, man. This is what I got to say right here, dog. Like, oh my gosh. He says, what if somebody from the Chi that was ill got a deal on the hottest rap label around, but it wasn't talking about coke and birds, it was more like spoken word, except he's really putting it down, right? Again, I don't care about, I'm not a rapper like Kanye, but I think about me, just a regular kid who went through an accident. And what if I was to have that type of impact, but it's not about coke and birds and that type of lifestyle, but it seems more like a spoken word type of feel. and it's like he's really putting it down, whatever. And then he explains this story about how blacks came from glory and what we need to do in the game. And I think about me, and I mean, look black to me, and I feel like this is my story, but it's based upon the story of Moses, the story of Joseph, the story of Peter. I could go on and on and on. It really ties to Jesus. And I think about all those people who live in glorious moments, and it's all about him. And I'm like, okay, let me tell my story. And I tried to do that with The Vision, right? It was called The Vision for a reason. It was something I felt like God showed me. And then all of a sudden, I was a good dude that had a bad night in the right place at the wrong time, At no moment did I ever feel like I was a bad person? Made bad decisions? Sure. Was I in the wrong place at the right place at the wrong time? Sure. I feel like every time I think back to when I tore my ACL, it was me being a good dude on a bad night at the right place at the gym. I have so many positive memories with the Georgia State Rec Center. But that night was the wrong time. And in the blink of an eye, my whole life changed. If you could feel how my knee felt, you would know how real pain felt. Like, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That's all I'm gonna say. But what I will say, following that up, is Kanye said, thank God I ain't too cool for the safe belt. I want to say thank God for all the people that surrounded me, that lifted me up, and thank God for me not being too cool to look myself in the mirror and ask what I've done wrong on my life's journey so I can be here today, right? I got a lawyer for my sake to keep us in my safe. My dogs couldn't tell if I... Okay, we're going to skip past that. Even though I love it, we're going to skip past it. He says there's been an accident like Geico. Whether you want to talk about the ACL injury, whether you want to talk about the actual car accident, whether you want to talk about this, that, the other, it feels like it's been so many moments that were accidental in my life, let alone the couple funerals I had to go to this summer that were at the hands of a car accident. And I'm like... But I must thank God that I wasn't burnt up fighting through this fire like Pepsi did Michael. You know, unbreakable. What you thought? They call me Mr. Glass? Ain't nothing... you feel me? Like, I don't even know what to say to y'all other than I feel like I'm unbreakable with him on my side. I ain't like Mr. Glass. You know, I feel like when I think about my story from the moment I tore my ACL to right now, it feels like looking at the ghost of Christmas past. You know, I think about being 20 years old. You know, if I was 21, so I was sad. Man. Okay, I think about the fact that I'm 20 years old and how I spend money sometimes. You know, and it's like I still want to grow up. I'm a grown-ass kid. And I think about when the police got involved in this situation or that situation or what was going on in the mental hospital. And it's like, I swear I could be locked up for some stupid stuff that I did, like for real. But God came and saved my life. And with God in my life, despite of everything I've been through, you know, but always trumps anything you say before that. So despite of the mental hospital, despite of this, that, the other, God came in my life. So that's why I can say I'm a champion and I turn all that tragedy to triumph. Because he gave me the power to make stuff like this that's fire and say that I could spit my soul through the wire, you know. Kanye finishes it off, another little interlude, you know, whatever, talking about how I want to give him credit for what he said. You know what I'm saying? The doctor told me I had to I was gonna have to plate in my chin. I said, dog, don't you realize I never make it to a plane now? It's bad enough I got all this jewelry on. She can't be serious, man. And I think back to my story. I think about when the doctor told me he had to go into my quad and take a part of my quad and make it my new ACL. And I said, dog, don't you realize I'll probably never be able to dunk a basketball again, man? I think about all the other stuff I had going on. It's like, you can't be serious, man. But you know how Kanye started this song off? He said, yo, G, they can't stop me from rapping. They can't stop me, can they, Bryce? They can't stop me, can they, man? They don't know what it is. And so I say that to say, we hear all that. I'm going to spit through the wire. I'm going to be unbreakable. I'm going to know that the devil going to be on my shoulder, but God got my back, so I'm going to keep on rolling, right? We're going to leave it here for now. I hope y'all enjoy this when y'all see it on January 8th, but I'm about to give y'all a little sneak peek. Y'all going to see those on Instagram on January 1st, so stick with me. Man, oh man. I'm sure as most of you all know, I'm writing a book. Most people who've talked to me recently know that. And for those of you all who don't, hey, I'm writing a book. Why should you read the book? Where's the book about? I came to college. I feel like I was on top of the world. I went to a Drake concert. I was playing basketball every day. I was in the best shape of I was running like 550 miles, bro. Everything was perfect. Really good relationship at the time. I feel like I was unstoppable, if I'm being honest. And so I started this YouTube. Channel. I uploaded this video called The Vision. Everything was going exactly how I wanted it to go until February 15th, when I blew my knee out. Tore my ACL, tore my MCL, tore my LCL, fractured my femur, tore my meniscus. That was February 15th of 2024. And then February 18th of 2024, I had to go to my uncle's funeral. So it's like I lost my first love in basketball. No girl will ever compare to basketball. At the time, no girl compared to basketball. I lost my first love. My love for the game whenever I lost my first love, and then I had to go bury my uncle. And then later that week and everything, me and my actual first like real deal relationship, we start beginning at the end type of phase. So I lose my first love, I lose my uncle, and I deal my first real heartbreak all in the month of February. So then I get my ACL reconstructed on April 30th. And then I spend most of the month of May in 2 different mental hospitals. And that's a lot to go through. And I felt lost. I felt hopeless. But I got out of the mental hospital and I said, okay, this summer I'm gonna heal, I'm gonna recover, I'm gonna get back on my feet. So that way, when school starts in August of 2024, I'm gonna be a whole new person. I'm gonna make all these new friends. And until I woke up on the first day of school and found out that my grandmother died. And I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. It was saddening. It was so many different things. So I go numb, I zone out, I'm out of the world, whatever. I start going through this phase of finding myself again, finding my footing, and to start off 2025, I'm actually doing really, really good. And I feel like when I turn back to God, I could feel things getting better for me. And that's when the real test started, because this June, I lost my little cousin in a car accident. And then on July 17th, I had to go to my great aunt's funeral. And as I'm on the way to that funeral, I get a call that my grandmother's in the hospital. And I find out my other grandmother's in the hospital. But it's okay because July 19th is my birthday. So everything's great. I have a great party with all my peoples. And then July 21st, I find out my friend gets in a car accident and fractures her spine. And I'm like, what is life? What am I supposed to do with this, right? Move forward, August, tonsillectomy, get my tonsils taken out, coughing up blood the week before school starts. Have to go to another funeral because my other cousin got in a car accident and didn't make it. And school starts, I push. Even though I have my tonsillectomy, I show up anyway. And then we get to September and my car dies. I'm like, this isn't real. This can't be real. My car dies and I feel like, what? But it's okay because I get another car anyway. And I keep showing up to school, and I was very blessed by God to get another car. And I'm thinking everything is great, and that's where the story's supposed to end. That's where this promotional video is supposed to end. Up until last Thursday, that was a plan. I was gonna share that with y'all. Boom, that's my story. Until Friday, I get in a car accident. And I think to myself, this can't be real. Like, it seems unbelievable, but you see it right here, Bryce. What does that say? How much is that estimate?
It says $1,069.82.
And 82 cents. And I'm like, what? What more do I need? And then I almost stopped. I almost gave up. I almost didn't record this video. But then I realized I was doing nothing but living one of my favorite gospel songs. You know, I love Kirk Franklin. He got me through this year. He really, really did. And so the song Looking For You, you know, I felt like at times I had been down for so long and I had been hurt for so long that there were times I would never see the break of day. And if I'm being honest, when I was in the mental hospital or when I was dealing with all this loss of physical pain, of people, it was hard for me to see God's plan for me. But I tried to believe that the struggling wouldn't last always. And I said night after night, night after night, I prayed, Lord, please don't take your joy from me. And then real late one night, or on a few different nights, God has been able to show me through his love letter that it's going to get better. You know what? I think about how good God has been to me and how he's brought me from a mighty long way. And that's why I love him, you know? And it's like, once I realized that, I recognized, starting with my cousin's funeral this summer, that my enemies were trying to come for me. And they thought my world was coming to an end. Some people who even were friends thought my world was coming to an end. But all the while, he knew. What does the hoodie say? He knew I was going to make it through. And that's why I feel closer to him now than when I first began, because I can say that Jesus is my sunlight right after the rain. I just want to be near him. I'm so glad I could hear him, and that's why I've been looking for him. And now that I found him, no one can take me away from him. So I'm telling my story so that you can understand what it's like to deal with pain, to deal with struggle, to deal with loss, to deal with surgery. And know that all you got to do is look for him. Understand that enemies are going to come for you. It's going to be long nights, but he's your sunshine right after the rain. And when you feel like you lost his plan, get in his word, because night after night, he will continue to show up. He'll continue to tell you that he knew all along what it was all about. So I'm going to tell my story to inspire other people. You know, the last YouTube video I posted was January 12th, 2024. No, the first video was January 12th, 2024. Tore my ACL February 15th. The last video was January 12th, 2025. My guy Bryce commented on that video. Shout out to Sydney, commented on that video. Y'all been here through all the ups and downs, through all the joys and hurts. And so I appreciate y'all showing that love. I hope to see much more comments as I continue to do this. But as we enter 2026, we're going to try it again. Third time's the charm. January 12th, we're going to get this audio book out. And by February 15th, the whole book will be out. So I hope that we can redefine the shortcomings of January 12th through February 15th, 2024 to get the blessings of January 12th, 2026 through February 15th, 2026. See you guys next time.